And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're talking about the concept of loneliness and how to love loneliness on your way to the top. You know what they say? They say that it's lonely at the top. And it's not. And I'm going to explain this concept very effectively today. Make sure you comment down below if you have any questions or if you have any experiences or if you feel lonely on your way to the top. And we'll solve them right here, right now on this live stream. So, let's talk about masculinity and femininity for a second, shall we? Masculinity is to have control over one's thoughts, one's emotions, and one's behavior. Femininity is the opposite. Meaning, you cannot control your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. Let's look at loneliness for a second. Loneliness is basically you feeling as if you're the only one in the universe. No one cares about you, no one wants to help you, no one accepts you, no one is there for you. Meaning, you have to take care of your own self. And then you have to... And the problem with that is that humans in general were not designed to be lonely. We were not designed to feel alone. Okay? So it's not normal for us as spiritual beings to be by ourselves and to not have anyone care for us. And we can see that the moment we're born, most of us have a mother. And we attach to the booby, right? And then we become one with our mother through that action. And then throughout our youth, throughout our childhood, supposedly we were now then not lonely because we had our parents and we had siblings around us in a nice, cozy family environment. That's wonderful as a child, and this develops this feeds us emotionally. But then we grow up, and as we become older and older, then people begin to not have time for us anymore. In a sense, our parents, they have too much things to do. They send us off to kindergarten and school, and then we basically end up being in a capitalist society of not having the attention, the love, and the adoration that we were supposed to have. As humans, as human beings, this adoration and acceptance of you as a person that you had as a baby and as a child because you were all cute and cuddly and everyone wanted to be around you, suddenly you grow up and you're not that cute and cuddly anymore and you've got to grow up. Very often this happens way too soon. Because we're put in an environment either from having too big of a family, so you have too many siblings. That was my experience, but fortunately I was the youngest one, so I came out of that system in the best possible shape compared to my siblings. They had a harder time because I, as the baby boy, okay, got the most attention for the longest time from everyone. Everyone wanted to be with me as a child, and as I grew up, I was still the baby, right? So very often the youngest in a family is going to be the one that suffers the least from the aspect of loneliness and from the aspect of not being accepted, adored, and loved. So you've got to understand this. If you are the oldest child in your family, you will probably have been the one who got the least amount of love and affection if you have siblings. Okay? That's just the normal way because very often parents have no idea what they're doing when they have their first child. And the moment the second child comes around, it's the cutest one. And then the first child is left behind. That's a problem. Okay, this wouldn't be such a big problem in Three Girls in Love because there's 3 mothers to love every single child. But when there's just one mother, that's a problem, because the moment she gets the second child, the first child is completely by himself or by herself. And she has to survive on her own very often. Okay? I'm explaining to you loneliness here, but I'm helping you to understand where it all is derived from. It all comes down from our childhood. Okay, so we were supposed to be allowed to be feminine during our childhood, from the years of 0 to 9 years old. Very often from a very, very, very early age, from basically like 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, we're expected to handle ourselves and to grab the spoon by our hands and do our own feeding and do everything ourselves. Meaning loneliness. Welcome. Enjoy. That's not how we were designed to be. Right? So it's a problem, because the moment we now grow up and we were supposed to be feminine so that we would want to depart from our femininity as, as we grow older and we get our sperm production and we become teenagers, then we're supposed to desire masculinity, to desire loneliness in many aspects, not in the sense of loneliness, but in the sense of competition. Okay, competitiveness in many aspects is lonely because you're trying to be better than the next person. And so what happens is that what we experience as a child in large families or in kindergarten or in school, we're experiencing capitalism, where we're all competing for attention. We're all competing to get someone to love us and accept us because we're lonely, because we're feminine creatures. Feminine creatures needs social way more than masculine creatures do. Way more. Because that's their nature. Masculinity can be by themselves and can be lonely for a long period of time. It's not a problem for masculinity because they can control their thoughts and their emotions and their behavior. Right? Femininity has to have things happen to them, so they need the exchange of other people communicating with them and leading them and being there for them and accepting and loving them continuously and all of the time. And they do that naturally towards each other. Right? Where was I going with this? I'm basically explaining that you had capitalism as a child when you were supposed to have socialism. Socialism in the sense that everything is provided for, you don't have to worry about anything, everyone loves you, everyone is around you, everyone is taking care of everyone. Socialism, right? But you experience capitalism. So once you grow older, then you begin to desire socialism. You desire social, and you want to be around social all the time, and you love being around your friends, and your friends accept you and love you, and they're there for you, etc., etc. This is what happens in feminine groups, like female groups, and this is what happens in male groups. You'll notice very often, I talk about 3 girls in love, but you'll also notice that boys in their teenage years very often walk in threes. Isn't that weird? Yeah, that's kind of weird. But that's femininity right there. They want social. So, you get socialism, and very often they continue on with this mindset forever because they were neglected as children. But the more children are accepted and given socialism as children, and actually taken care of, nurtured, accepted, loved, and all that stuff, then boys actually get driven towards testosterone and driven towards masculinity once they enter into puberty and adulthood. And especially if they have a father who trains them in testosterone and trains them in competitiveness, etc., etc. Do you understand what I mean? Am I explaining about loneliness? I think I am. Okay, but let's move forward now. If you're feminine as a man, you'll notice very often that guys are very selfish. And they think about themselves because they have emotions and they can't control them. And they had issues in their childhood and they have a lot of problems. And so they need a lot of help from other people, etc., etc. You are lonely. If you're feminine, you are lonely right now. You might have friends. You might have people who are there for you. Okay? But when the problems arise, they're gone. They're backstabbers. They think about themselves. They think about their own emotions. They think about what's going on with them and their own problems, and they want to borrow money from you, and they want to do this from you, and they want to seek you out because you can solve their problems, right? If you are somewhat more masculine than them, right? That's a problem because they're feminine. So you get a bunch of feminine guys who are basically codependent, but they're not codependent. What's it called? They're dependent on each other, and you're still feeling lonely. So is that better than the journey towards masculinity? Right? I got the question of, loneliness by by Luisa, actually. He was saying, bro, you talk about, he was giving me suggestions for videos, and he came up with the thought, you teach on the channel about staying away from girls, staying away from, spending less time with your family, and basically cutting down all association with friends by default, simply because you work 70 to 80 hour work weeks, right? So you're not talking a lot about loneliness when that is basically the journey that people are going through towards success. So maybe you should mention that. I'm paraphrasing completely, but and so I was like, that's a good idea. So I'm explaining here to you now that as a feminine creature, you have a hyperdrive towards social, towards having friends, towards having people around you. In the same way, when I explained about semen retention, I explained that when you ejaculate, you have a hyper drive towards sexuality. You're hypersexual. You're like, oh, yeah, I need it, right? So in the same way, when you're feminine, you have, I need social, I need it, because it's your feminine nature. Right? Once you become masculine, once you're able to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior, you don't need anything. You might want something, right? You might want social because you want to be around other people, you want to be around other men in terms of competitiveness and friendship and relating, and because we're humans and we're designed to have that connection with other people. That's what it's all about. That's what life is about. Connection. And when you don't have connection, you feel that something is wrong with you, right? You feel I need it, okay? And when you're feminine, you need connection. But when you're masculine, you seek it out because you can have it whenever you want, because you're masculine and people want to be around you, okay? And that's beautiful. That's awesome. So how is this journey throughout the journey that I'm explaining in the 5 phases of leadership? The 5 phases of leadership is allow yourself to be led, lead yourself, lead a team, lead women, lead kids, right? So in the beginning, you're feminine, meaning you're not even on the phase and the journey towards leadership. You're just basically hanging out, chilling with your friends, which is a bunch of waste of time a lot of the time, right? You know what I'm talking about. If you're a teenager or if you're older, you know how much time you have wasted with guys that are going nowhere and that don't even have an intention of going anywhere because they're feminine guys. They have easy access to sexuality very often if they're kind of hybrids and they've got some masculinity, but they're also feminine. They've got easy access to sex these days because girls basically give it up for free. Easily. It sucks. It's horrific. But that's the society we live in, so guys don't get the motivation and the drive to be ambitious and to be fired up outside their brain about success. There's just a minority of people who actually are driven towards it. And then you've got guys who basically don't have the motivation because they watch porn and ejaculate on a consistent basis. But they're too afraid to talk to girls, and so they basically sit behind their computer screen. You are not part of those people anymore. You want to depart from that because they're selfish. They only think about themselves, they only think about their emotions, and they can't control them. You don't want to be around that anymore, so it's good. You want to love that journey towards loneliness temporarily so that you can move on towards proper, amazing connection with other human beings. Because the connections you've had with your other feminine friends, hybrid friends, guys that are masculine/feminine, and that basically are selfish, you don't want to be around them anymore because they're not giving you much connection. You can relate to them because you that's what friends do, right? They have things that they relate to or about. Maybe, they're basketball friends, or maybe they're friends because you play music, or maybe they're friends because, they're colleagues, or whatever it is that brought you guys together is not what you want to have as your connection with them forever. Like, do you get what I'm saying here? You want to have a close-knit group of friends, of guys that have gone through the same hardships as you towards success, and that knows what success is all about, who are all successful because they're masculine, because they're consistent, and because they can control their thoughts, their emotions, and their behavior. When you're able to be around those people who believe in karma, right, in the sense of do good to others and they're going to do good to you, and there's win-win situations the whole entire time, you're going to have an amazing life. You're going to enjoy your life to the nth degree, because that's what life was designed to be like. To be around guys who are basically, who have progressed massively and exponentially on their journey towards being proper mini-gods, if that makes sense, right? Right now, you're around people, if you still have friends, and if you haven't started this journey yet, you're lonely still. And you're together with guys who suck. And if you continue to spend time with those guys, you will continuously suck. But not only that, but your connection with other people is going to continue to suck. Right? You're going to have relationship problems and issues, and the people around you are going to have problems, and because they're not masculine, they're going to have woman problems, and then those woman problems, very often, maybe you want to go on a double date, and you guys spend time together, and you know, you have, because they have problems, you also have problems, because birds of a feather flock together. And when you know, trying to solve something in your life, guess who you're getting advice from? Your friends, who suck. Right? Do you understand this aspect? Like, you don't want to be stuck in this arrangement of feminine guys who have problems, but problems that they are not sure how to solve, and they're freaking out, and what should I do with my girlfriend? Like, do you understand what I mean? Like, you want to be in a different setting where you're around masculine men who have connection in the sense of win-win situations, and they enjoy each other's company because they're competing with each other, right? But they compete with each other, and then like the guy said a couple of days ago on the live stream, where he was saying that, you know, real masculinity is competition, like boxers, where you basically beat each other up, which is great, but then you know, you handshake and give each other a hug afterwards, because, man, you know, it's awesome. We're competing against each other. We're continuously improving and becoming better. That's the kind of relationships you want to have with men. Guys that basically help you to get stronger, faster, better every single day of your life. Because if you have those guys around you, then you know that you'll always have support when you're struggling with something. But you'll have bigger kinds of problems. You won't have the itty-bitty issues, blah, 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 that people are talking about when they're feminine as guys. You'll have the real big issues of how are we creating peace on earth? How are we going to basically bring this company to $1 billion a year? How are we, like, those big issues? And then we help each other as masculine men, help each other to get to the other side of that problem. And then when you've solved something together, as masculine men, it's a big thing. It's something huge that you solve together, right? Because the exponential growth of having tons of masculine men working together on projects or on things, you know, of whatever nature, that's amazing. If you're trying to solve a project or a problem together with guys that are feminine, you're probably going to fail, because they're going to give up. And they're going to be like, oh, you know what, this is too hard, and I found something else that I'm going to do instead. Or, even worse, my girlfriend, she wants to move across America, so we can't do this project anymore, and I'm sorry that I have to leave you behind, blah, blah, blah. Because he's being led by his girlfriend. If he was masculine, he would be the one who's in control of his life, and he would be do you understand what I mean? I'm taking you from selfish loneliness environment where people are lonely anyway, but I'm taking you towards the kind of setting and community of men of high value, of masculine guys who enjoy each other's company, but they don't need each other, right? Because they're masculine. They can handle their problems all on their own, but it's cool to work together on solving problems. And so we do it. And then we solve them, because quitters never win and winners never quit. And so they stick it out together and make things happen and solve things eventually together. And they don't have any relationship problems with their wives. And so they don't have issues. Do you understand what I mean? So what's the journey? The 5 phases of leadership. If you haven't started it yet, let's start it. Number 1, allow yourself to be led. You want to be led by someone who's masculine. You want to be led by someone who has good relationships with people. You want to be led by people that are better than you, more successful than you, who thinks better than you. Because guess what? If you actually connect with them properly, and you basically are them, you're working for free for them, right? That's connection. You're solving bigger problems. And you know that these people are not going to backstab you, right? Because they're masculine and they don't do that crap, because they know that if you backstab someone, you're going to be stabbed in the back later, right? That's rational. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, right? So you want to be more with those guys, but guess what? You're going to be uncomfortable around them. They're going to, like in the beginning, sometimes they might want you to pay them money to be around them. Is that really my friend if I have to pay him money every single month for his services, for him being a coach, or for him mentoring me towards whatever it is that I want to achieve, whether it's real estate, whether it's investing, whether it's whatever it is? You want to connect with guys that don't want to connect with you in the beginning, because they don't know what you have to offer. They don't know what value you bring, and probably you're feminine, so you're wasting their time. So you've got to learn how to connect to people that don't want to connect with you. And the best way to do that is to work your ass off and make money so that you can pay them in order for you to be in their vicinity. Do you understand what I mean? I'm helping you now to go on your journey towards masculinity. Because if you don't have a coach, what's going to happen? You're going to remain with your circle of friends because you're human and you need interaction with other human beings. You need social, and you have a hyperdrive towards social, which means you're never going to build your business successfully. That's what happens. That's why people fail. It's another reason why guys fail to build a business. It's because they're trying to build it on their own. They're not getting the help from someone who's better than them, someone who's more masculine, someone who's going to keep them accountable, and someone who they kind of compete with. Do you understand what I mean? Allow yourself to be led. It's one of the most important things. And if you're being led by someone who is better than you, take their advice and not your friend's advice. Because your friends right now, when you're feminine, suck. If you suck, which you probably do if you don't have cash, or if you have bad relationships, or if you can't manage to go 30 days on semen retention, you suck. Which means that you probably have friends who suck. Which means that you shouldn't be taking any advice from them, none whatsoever, because they suck. Or else they wouldn't want to be around you. If they were amazing, they wouldn't want to spend time with you. Now, sometimes there are people that suck even more than us that don't want to spend time with us, but why would you want to spend time with them if they suck more than you do? Do you understand what I mean? Okay, so the next step then, when you've started working, when you started putting in the efforts of working and actually serving other people, you got to understand that you're probably going to spend a lot of time around other people when you have a job, right? You're going to be around colleagues, you're going to be around customers, and probably most of the people you meet suck. However, I have to say this thing because very often people think that everyone sucks around them simply because they suck, but very often people suck because you suck. And I'll just... I always say this on this channel that you guys suck. You got to understand that you're amazing. Don't worry about it. But I'm just comparing you to your future potential. I'm just comparing you to what you can become. And compared to that, right now you suck, right? I'm not saying that as offensive way of talking to you guys. It's just simple to explain it to you this way. So anyway, when you are around people and they're negative and they have bad attitudes and they don't smile and all that stuff, very often it's because you have a bad attitude. It's because you don't smile. It's because you don't liven up the party, right? If you smile, other people smile to you. Have you heard that adage? you smile to the world and the world smiles back to you. Okay, the moment you start doing that at work, you're working towards masculinity here. You're controlling your thoughts, you're controlling your emotions, you're controlling your behavior. Control your attitude. Because if you manage to control your attitude and make it better and improve it, then happy people are going to be drawn to you because they want to be happy, right? And also unhappy people will be drawn to you unless they're extremely unhappy, because they'll be like, oh, he's happy all the time. I don't like being with him, right? But if you are truly, happy and caring for other people in the way that you should be towards customers and colleagues, then you'll attract other people into your life that you can have conversations with. But it's okay if you don't. It's okay if you're a loner. Because if you're a loner on this journey, at least you won't have their input inside your brain. Put on the earplugs if you are allowed to do that at work and listen to positivity. Listen to me. Listen to Tony Robbins. Listen to those guys that will help you to get the right attitude and help you towards leadership, help you towards masculinity, etc., etc. That's allowing yourself to be led. Very smart. Leading yourself. You're leading yourself now, meaning you're going to be lonely because you're not going to have anyone on this journey if you don't have a coach. Right? If you're moving towards success and you're leaving your friends and family behind, it's going to be really, really hard if you don't have someone who's better than you to mentor you on that journey. It's going to take you 2 or 3 or 4 times as long as necessary because you're not getting the needed help that you need. Okay? Understand that the world is moving from education, a 3 to 5 year education, towards being coached by people who understand what they're doing. Whether it's through courses or whether it's through literally having a coach, that's the best form of education compared to what we have today. With the ridiculous amounts of money that people pay on education. Like literally, there are people out there paying $20,000 a year. $20,000 a year. Okay, we're talking like, how much is that? That's $600 a month, isn't it? Something like that. Anyway, did you understand what I mean? And some guys are paying 30, and the people going to like elite schools, they have literally like $60,000 a year. Okay, that's like paying $5,000. If you were willing to pay $5,000 a month to have a mentor who's rich to teach you and mentor you on your way to success, do you understand how fast you'd become a multimillionaire? A multimillionaire. And yet people go to Harvard to hope they have a nice career. It's ridiculous. Okay, I just had to put that in there so that you guys understand what the future of education is. The future of education is having masculine leadership who are leading you by the hand towards becoming successful. The apprentice model. It's the tried and proven method that has worked from the beginning of time, and it's going to return with the fanfare in the future. Okay, it's already here right now, but you don't know who to hire as a coach. Welcome to my channel. I'm the most affordable, most amazing coach that I know about when it comes to relationships, business, etc. And I'll be your friend on your journey, okay? Once you are beginning to lead others, you now have established a business that has replaced your 2 or 3 jobs. Now you have a business and you actually have so much money and so much things, so much people requiring your time that you need employees. You know the cool part about having your own business? You get to choose who you work with. Oh my gosh. That is one of the most exciting, most important blessings of entrepreneurship. You choose. You don't have to work with someone if you don't want to. You can fire their ass anytime you want. And this is actually something that, Loaiza did the other day. Like he had a good friend, but he simply wasn't matching their work ethic and wasn't matching their progress in the business. So he had to fire his ass. That's how it goes, right? But that's a benefit. That's a pro. It's a con for the guys who got fired, but that was his fault. He could have leveled up. He could have progressed. He could have chosen to be better, but he chose not to, and he had a lot of opportunities, okay? So now, basically, I'm explaining to you guys now that wow, what happened? You were lonely and everyone around you were selfish when you were feminine. You grew in your masculine leadership. This is what happened to Luisla. He spent a lot of time with me on his progress. We've been together. We've basically been the customer coach for like 15 months now. He's paid me monthly for 15 freaking months. Okay, and gotten amazing results, and he's not going anywhere because he's making so much money. Okay, so what has happened is that it was lonelier in the past. Now it's lonely because I can't be with him all of the time, right? Because I'm not available. But things have improved so much compared to 6 months ago or 8 months ago when he had no employees and was doing everything on his own. He was lonely, okay? But now he has employees and he has fun with them throughout the day because they're making videos and they're making canvases, they're making this, that, and the other, and they enjoy each other's company. As Luisla progresses, hopefully his employees will match his personal growth. They probably won't, unfortunately, unless they hook themselves up to this channel. And what's going to happen, though, is that Luisla is going to get better and better and better and better friends that he can connect with, and I'm just using him as an example now, but for all of you guys, understand that the future is so bright. The more masculine you become, the more everything in your life works, but especially connection with other human beings. Connection with your family, meaning your 3 girls in love and your kids, because you know how to control your thoughts and your emotions and your behavior, so you'll never do anything that causes them to want to depart from you. Like, why are you treating me this way, right? You won't ever force them because you know how to get them to do what you want them to do without forcing them, because you are a leader, because you're masculine. You'll have order in your home. Femininity, not so much. Masculine man, a lot of order because you lead and they follow you voluntarily. And because you're able to do that with your family, other men are basically like, wow, this guy's amazing. I like this guy. He's cool. And he achieves all of these things in his life. And you'll actually have a few friends that are there for you no matter what, life or death. Who cares? They've got your back, right? That's what you want. Someone who is willing to be there for you no matter what, because you have been there for them for years. Right? Win-win situation for a long period of time creates depth. And once you have depth in a relationship and no backstabbing, and your friends actually have a track record of never doing anything to you that you're like, whoa, why did he do that? Is he actually against me? Do you understand what I mean? If there's never any of that, you'll have trust. Once you have trust with the key few people in your life, you'll never, ever, ever be lonely ever again. And you'll basically have experienced what true joy and happiness is all about. And guess what? It'll be consistent forever because you're right around the right people. So that was loneliness for you guys, okay? Helping you to understand that the most loneliest time is not the journey towards success. The loneliest time is the one you have right now as a feminine creature, as a man, being around people who are selfish, who don't care about you, and who are only there because you've got something for them to offer. Like, do you understand what I mean? The moment you don't have anything to offer, they're gone because they're selfish. You want to be around masculine men who progress together. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, and I hope you got tons of value out of it. All right, let's look at the chat. Okay, I think you explained the psychology of loneliness well. I'm 40. I no longer have friends. My family are all narcissists or enablers. Thank you for sharing, George Clooney. Let's go through your comments and explain what's going on, unless you've already explained it because you understand it yourself. You have no contact with them. Family and friends, okay. I've been finding it hard past few days, and I found strength through a higher power. Is that feminine? Good thing is I promised God I will never PMO again. I've gone 7 days without touching it. I now just need to beat my 10-day semen retention record. I'm trying to write an ebook, but I have a few issues unresolved. My parents finding self-worth since they took it away from me. It's hard alone. I don't know what to do, but at least I have time to focus on me. You don't have a coach, bro. You basically are doing exactly what I explained in the video, which is basically you're trying to succeed all by yourself, and you have no friends, you have no family, you have no human connection, you have no girlfriend, and you're trying to succeed, and it's not working very well. You got to connect to someone who is better than you. Someone who doesn't want to spend time with you, but that you are willing to pay in order for him to help you along the journey and to be your friend. Okay? It's okay to pay someone who is better than you to be your friend because there's no trust there yet, right? I can be your coach. There's no trust between us other than what you've seen on my channel and what I can do for you. You've been around for months. I can be your coach, right? And I'll help you, but I don't trust that I'm not going to be wasting my time, so I'm not going to do it for free, right? Do you understand what I mean? What I'm doing here on YouTube is I'm being a friend to thousands of people, hopefully, over time, right? And I'm doing that for free because I know that over time I'm going to get a few key guys who are going to follow all of this movement and everything that I teach to the nth degree because they'll see that it works, right? But for now, if you don't trust me enough to pay me money to be your friend on your journey, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to succeed on your own, especially if you don't have, or simply because you don't have anyone else, if that makes sense. So hit me up on Instagram at Men of High Value. Contact me. I'm increasing my prices at 1st of January 2021 because I'm getting too many clients and I have too much stuff to do. And, you know, and so I only want a few key clients and help them to the nth degree to get to where they want to go. So hurry up before it becomes too pricey. Let's see. Because for the clients that I have, they're going to keep their price for a while. That's what I'm explaining. Okay. Been doing some digging on blockchains. Thanks for recommending it to me. Absolutely. Please be my friend. Once I hire you, I'm on the journey of isolation still. Get started, guys. I want to get you as a coach, but I want to focus on my business and not work 80 hours a week. You want to focus on your business and not work 80 hours a week? What the heck does that mean, George? Oh my gosh. Money is a non-issue, and I may be getting on the DSP, which means I get 2 years off and they pay me more. So I do have time to get it done. Have you been listening to what I teach on my channel, bro? You won't be getting it done, man. If you want something done, give it to someone who doesn't have the time to do it. You're screwing everything over. You're doing the opposite of success. You need a job. You need 3 jobs or 2 jobs at least to work 60 hours a week. If you know you have a business that massively needs your attention, great. But only spend 20 hours a week on it because you won't be disciplined. You won't. Especially not if you're lonely. Watch my videos again. Like it sounds to me that you're watching my videos once and then you move on. Watch my videos multiple times, at least 2 times, because you're not getting it. And if you're not getting it, then what's the probabilities that you are going to succeed in your business? Do you see what I'm trying to say here? So, if money is a non-issue, why didn't you hire me as a coach a year ago? Like, why have you gone through this process all by yourself? This is unnecessary, guys. I'm using George as an example because he's writing me on this chat and actually explaining what's going on. I don't know George. I don't know his problems. I don't know the things that he's telling me, and the things that he's telling me is ridiculous. No offense, George, but literally, come on, man. Like, you need to work 70, 80 hours a week. That's number 1. Number 2, you need to not work on your business in the beginning because you're still feminine. So you need to have those 2 jobs first so that you can prove to yourself you can work 12-hour days no matter what, all of the time, and then build your business on the side. I've repeated this at least 20 times on this channel, and I think you've heard this before. You're not allowing yourself to be led. No problem, you can do whatever you want. I'm just explaining that you're taking 2 or 3 or 4 times longer than necessary. Let's see. But you're saying, I just need someone to lead me down the right path and keep me accountable. So you're getting something. Good. Let's see. I want to be married to a 30-ish woman within 3 years, so I don't have time to waste. Well, you better contact me on at Men of High Value on Instagram. And if you don't, you're basically just yapping, wasting your breath, okay? Saying that you want accountability, you want a coach, but I'm not willing to pay for it yet. Then why did you tell us all this information? If you don't contact me on Instagram, I don't know how to help you. I don't. I really don't. Let's see. That's what I'm dealing with right now. So there you go. This is the information for all of you guys. Hope you got tons out of it. I'm not disappointed in you guys. Sometimes I do get a bit disappointed because I understand where you guys are at, and I continuously and consistently have to meet you where you're at, instead of you guys taking the chance to run towards me where I am, and I want to help you and keep you accountable and help you to work 12-hour days, and you're not ready, right? So I keep having to go down and, okay, let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do. And that's okay. And it's good. And we're going to fail on our journey. And failure is fantastic. And let's just take one day at a time. But please, guys, understand the concept of allow yourself to be led. If there's any of the 5 steps that's most important for you to learn, which is the most feminine aspect of the 5 phases of leadership, however, it is the most important aspect of the 5 phases of leadership that I've discovered, that I understand. Because if you don't do number 1, you'll never get to number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. And if you do get to the other stages, it's going to crash and burn because you never set up the foundation properly to have someone help you on the journey towards success and setting up your foundation. Okay? So, let's see. George Clooney responds, I gotta be honest with you, bro. I don't have it in me to work 80 hours a week. I'll want to kill myself. At least if I work on my business, I have a purpose. Come on, Joseph. You gotta help me. Compromise with me, please. No, I can't. 80 hours it is. And if you can't do it, don't start a business because your business is gonna crash and burn. That's how life is, guys. Understand that there's gonna be a financial collapse in the next few years, if not next year, right? The dollar is hyperinflating. It has already hyperinflated, and we're just simply waiting for the economy to open back up so all of the unused dollars, okay, is gonna come into society and simply devalue the entire dollar completely. No one's going to want the dollar. Do you know what's going to happen to the banks? Do you know what's going to happen with riots in the street? You know what's going to happen to all of these different types of businesses? Everyone is going to suffer. Everyone. And you think that you can establish a business without an 80-hour work week? Really? That's amazing. Okay, good luck. You know? So anyway, what is the purpose of 80? I have a bigger purpose than working for someone else. Well, that's great that you have a bigger purpose than working for someone else. However, you're not going to be working for yourself. Like, working for someone else prepares you to work for someone else in your business. Like, do you understand what I mean? Like, you'll in your business, if you can't work 12-hour days in your business won't be successful, right? So why start building a business with only a few hours a day and then fail at it? And then you have to start from scratch again, which means that there's going to be another 10,000 hours, right? Instead, it would have been better to try and fail working 40-hour work weeks. Oh man, this is so difficult. I had one guy who wrote me last week or a few days ago, and he said, bro, I've been working 55 hours a day, man, and it's exhausting and it's humbling. And I'm like, 55 hours a week, man? Are you kidding me? 55 hours a week and it's exhausting and humbling? Oh my gosh, like, come on, guys. Like, That's okay though. It's reality. And we have to face reality. We have to accept it. We have to understand it. We have to meet you where you're at. And if you're at 40 hours a week and I can't work more than that because I just really can't, and I basically I fall asleep and I don't have motivation and I don't have food and I'm getting depressed and all that stuff, great, fantastic. Then do 40 hours a week consistently for at least a month, and then build up the next month to 50, and then build up the next month to 60, and then build up the next month to 70, and then build up the next month. Let's say, for example, you're at 70 hours a week, you're done with jobs now, you don't want to work for anyone else, this is good, and now you build a business on the side with the remaining 10 hours a week. In order for you to replace the other jobs and prove to yourself you can be disciplined. I've explained this 1,000 times on this channel. Sorry for you new guys who are on here, who haven't subscribed yet, who've never heard these philosophies before, but you're getting a run back, a replay of me explaining this 1,000 times. So if you don't understand this, no problem. Contact me again on Instagram. I can have this done in 3 months, working 25 hours a week, my friend. Let's do this. All right, contact me on Instagram. I'll help you out. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you got out a lot of it. And you guys are awesome, man. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you in the next one. 80 hours work, or any work at all, is unnecessary. Can you at least give me some consideration? We're not all in the same boat. Yeah, if you have a special case, there are some times when there's 1%, right? Or maybe top 2% of exceptions to the rule. So again, contact me on Instagram. I'll help you out. You guys are awesome. See you in the next one.